Hi, I am life coach Latricia Booker with Kingdom Business, where we are empowered, where we heal, get delivered, and set free, where we know who we are. We elevate our minds and our spirits and raise and expand our consciousness to ultimately walk in our true divine purpose. That is the truth of who we really are. And so, in today's video, I want to talk to you about 6 things to stay away from while you are healing. 6 things that you want to stay away from, absolutely stay away from while you are healing. And so the first thing that you want to do is stay away from negativity. And so when we're healing, we have to really take care of ourselves. We have to be very mindful of what we're around, who we're interacting with. We really want to do that anyway, every day, just as a lifestyle. Because we have to protect ourselves and we have to protect ourselves from negativity. And so, in staying away from negativity, I mean negative people. If you know people, and most of us do, know people that are always negative, they always look at the bad side of things. That's all they talk about. They just complain. They always have something negative to say, whether it's about you or someone else, or even about themselves and their own lives or whatever's going on. Those people who have never have anything good to say, but everything is just negative. They're just a negative person. You may want to stay away from them, especially while you're in a healing process. Just stay away from them because you don't want their negativity to get inside of you. You really just don't want to be around it because, so yeah, preserve yourself and stay away from negative people. Negative places. Some places, some environments you know are not pleasant for you, whether it be in certain kind of gatherings, family gathering, or some place that's just not pleasant for you, that you feel like is a negative environment. Just some events, if you know certain people are going to be there and it always ends up in a negative way, just negative things going on, just don't go. You don't have to show up for everything. I'm reminded right now of like holidays. Sometimes people have negative family members, and it's always that one person or two people or several people that just are negative, and they just mess up the whole thing. But everybody just endure and push through. Well, you don't have to go. You don't have to show up. Even though it may be a holiday event or a special event or a special gathering, if it's a negative environment and you already know it, while you're in your healing process, it's not good for you. You're better off staying home alone and again preserving yourself, taking care of yourself because you're healing. And any outside influence that's negative or unpleasant does not serve your healing. In fact, it only hinders it. So just stay away from negative environments, especially when you know ahead of time that you already know. You have experience with it, so you know how it's going to be. And again, if you know certain negative people are there. Now, if it's an event where you absolutely need to show up because of what it is and what it means, and it's like only a one-time thing, that's different. Maybe you could go and you can just kind of push through it, but just try to avoid the negative people and just tune out the negative noise. And again, if you're comfortable with not going, even if it's a one time thing, by all means, don't go. You kind of gauge that and decide for yourself, for your own healing, for your own well being, for your own mental health. You know, so yeah, you want to stay away from those things. TV shows, it's a lot of negative programming on television. But it's also a lot of good, positive programming. Choose the positive programming. Me, myself, personally, am going through that transition right now. I tend to watch certain shows that are not the very best. I've cut back on it a lot, particularly these reality TV shows. It's just out of hand. But I've cut some of them out. But what those one that was just too much, that was just too negative. But I find myself cutting more because entertaining those things and watching those things, viewing those things, it, the negative things does not help your healing. You don't want to trigger anything while you're in the process of healing. So you want to just be careful with that. And if you know something is negative and that's just all what it's all about and everything just ain't nothing good in it, just refrain from watching those TV shows. Try to watch something a little more wholesome, so to speak, a little more pure, maybe even educational. Yeah, so you want to stay away from all negative things, negative people, negative places, negative television shows, maybe even movies, certain movies you may just not want to entertain doing that, doing your, while you're in the process of healing. And when I say healing, I believe we are always healing, but when you know you are specifically going through some deep healing around certain things that you know are there that you need to overcome and heal from and get free from. So, yeah. Now, the second thing you want to stay away from are people that are hurtful. So, sometimes people just some people that may just always say something hurtful or do hurtful things towards you. Um, Try to tear you down, try to break your spirit. Unfortunately, yes, people out here like that. And if you know someone, I don't care if it's your relative that's that way towards you, stay away from them while you're healing. And again, you might just want to stay away from them and avoid them as much as possible, period. But particularly while you're healing, you don't need those kind of people around because they will for sure attempt to say things to and you just want to preserve yourself and keep yourself covered and protected and like in a shell as much as you can from anything, any outside, any external entities or whatever that are just not good for you. So, yeah. Now, if you have to work and you can't help you just have to be around these people, well, you can tune them out and just avoid them as much as possible. That's even with the negative people, you know. That's even like I was saying, stay away from negative environments, the places. If your work environment is negative, you just have to learn how to deal with it, but stay away from those kind of people. Avoid them as much as possible. Also, if they attempt to engage you by saying something negative or hurtful, you don't have to respond. You could just literally don't say anything, or you say, I'd rather not discuss that. I'd rather not talk to you about that. I'll refrain from speaking on that, or don't say nothing. Whatever is more suitable for you. Because you don't have to respond to people. You don't have to answer people. Now, if it's something that you have to answer for work purposes, just keep it to that and leave it at that. Even if they throw something extra harmful, hurtful, meant to be hurtful or negative in there, just ignore that and address the problem or the question that requires you to because of whatever the job is. So, anyhow, we're going to move on to number 3. And the third thing you want to stay away from while you're healing is people that don't support you. We all know some people that don't support us. Many a times because they don't want to see us progress. Sometimes it's like that. Or whatever. For whatever reason they may have. When you know someone doesn't support you and have your best interests at heart, and they're not somebody that's there for you, that uplifts you, encourages you, or even that, all that, but just there for you, and you know that they support you. If you know that there's someone that doesn't, absolutely in no way, shape, or form, they're not support for you, stay away from them while you're healing. Because you want to make sure you're surrounding yourself, if you have to, with people that love you, that care for you, that support you. You don't want to be being around someone that doesn't support you. Because again, people that don't support you tend to do and say things that are not necessarily nice. So just don't be around them. Just don't, or don't talk to them. You have to just be careful who you're talking to and sharing with. If you know someone does not support you and they not on your team, they don't love you or whatever. Well, sometimes people love you, but they can't support you because they got a twisted kind of love. But stay away from them if you know they don't support you. Because if they don't support you, they can't support you in your healing. Not that you're necessarily seeking support, but you don't want to be around somebody that doesn't support you, not only while you're healing, but again, in life, period. For what? It doesn't serve you. We want to be around those things that work for us, those things that are good for us. We want to eliminate out of our life any and everything. That means people, places, and things that are not good for us. Even if in the meantime you have to deal with certain things, you want to be working your way into a better situation so that you won't have to be in those situations, be around those people, whatever the situation may be. You endure for a while, but you want to work, you want to make life work for you. And you learn what you need to do to make it work better for you by circumstances that you're in and that you see. You recognize, I don't want this, I don't like this. So then you know what to do to get what you do want. So you won't have to experience that very thing that doesn't serve you. That's not good for you, but you just have to endure it. And in many cases, those things that are not the best things for you, or they're not, what you prefer, negativity or whatever, certain kind of environments that are just not pleasant, they actually help you to get to where you're going, actually. So, again, if you can avoid it, by all means do. But if you're in a situation where you just have to be around them, just keep some distance. Keep some distance. And so the fourth thing that you want to do, you want to stay away from when you're healing, is negative thinking and negative self-talk. We have to be careful of what we're thinking about. You know, we have to think the best of things. We have to have an optimistic outcome and look. Now, if it's something that's going on, maybe something that's happening, maybe with someone you're dealing with, a relative or a mate, and it's something that's of concern, we have to be careful that we're not thinking negative about it, even if it's a negative thing. What I've come to learn, even if I suspect, or even if something looks a certain way that's not good, I've learned how to just quiet myself and let things be shown to me, and then let God, the Holy Spirit, direct me as to how to deal with it. So we just want to be careful that we're not in our heads thinking the worst and thinking negative, thinking that things, are bad, or things won't get better, or this horrible thing is happening. And again, even if maybe it is that, try to put a positive spin on it. Try to see the positive side of it. And even when we're talking to ourselves, because we all have talks going on in our head, most of us anyway. I'm not going to say we all, because some people have transcended that. And that's a goal for us all, even though many of us ain't even trying, working at it. Um, so just encourage yourself. Even if you have areas where you need to improve, recognize that, okay, I need to get this together. Okay, I need to work through this. Okay, I need to improve in this. Okay, I need to heal right here. I need to get free right here. This is getting out of hand. I need to get this together. Even though you acknowledge where you need to improve and where you need to change some things, encourage yourself. Don't talk yourself down. Even about others, we just have to be careful to just not have negative self talk. Well, negative talk when we're speaking of others, even if they're doing something horribly wrong. It's one thing to speak the truth about what's happening and what's going on, but we don't want to be negative about them overall, per se, if that makes sense. But let's just keep it back on self. Let's just put it back on self. Just encourage yourself, motivate yourself. It's a lot to work through these things in life, and the very fact that you're working through them is is huge. It takes courage to work through your stuff. It takes You have to be very brave because it's work and it's not pleasant. So encourage yourself, be gentle with yourself. Pat yourself on the back. Congratulate yourself for little progresses, little accomplishments. Yeah, talk good to yourself. Even in the midst of while you're working through an issue, even in the midst of while you're improving some area that needs to be improved. Yeah, you have to take care of you. If you don't take care of you and you don't believe in you and you don't encourage you and you don't motivate you, you can't look for others to. Not that you should, because I personally don't do that. I'm my own encourager and motivator, and sometimes my own problem. But I recognize that, and so I work on that. And so that's what I'm saying. Talk positive. Think the right. Think even when something is bad and it's horrible or it looks that way. Try to have a positive attitude about it. Try to know that regardless of what it is, it's for my good. It's going to get me to a better place. You know, it's just like how they say if you lose someone walk out of your life, or you have to remove yourself from someone because of something. Know that it's for your good. Even though it may well have been a horrible thing that it took place. Just know it's for your good. Be positive about it. And so the fifth thing that you want to absolutely stay away from when you're healing are triggers. Don't go around people that trigger you. People that like to push your buttons. Again, especially if you don't have to. Now, if you're around, again, if you have to go to work or you're in the same living space with someone that does that, you know, that's different. But in that event, you have to just not let those things, again, trigger you. You have to be very aware that those things, the triggerers may attempt to trigger. That's what they do. Now, if you're in a relationship, whether it be your or your relative or your friend or whatever, and they do certain things and you've noticed that trigger some of your stuff, talk to them about it. Just ask them to refrain from speaking about this or to refrain from doing this because it's a trigger for you. Just let them kind of know, or that it's a fragile situation and it's that not helping you. And the thing about that too is while you're asking them to help to not go there, and if they love you and respect you and they care about your well being, they're going to refrain from doing that. But you want to work on that. You know what I'm saying? But you're already doing the work, you're already healing. But again, don't go around people that trigger you, and your loved ones, let them know what it is. Even if you don't call it a trigger, just say, can you refrain from doing this? This kind of bothers me, or this upsets me, or I don't feel good about that when you do that. So can you refrain from doing that? And like again, if they love you and care about you, they will absolutely accommodate you. Okay? And so the sixth thing, I wanted to say the last thing, but it's the sixth thing because it's probably more. But right now I'm just talking about these six things. The sixth thing that you want to absolutely stay away from while you're healing is your ego. Yeah, your ego. You don't want to be in your ego. Now, it may rise and you may, the ego is a tricky thing. And so you have to be aware of it so you won't let it control you. So you won't be operating from that space. And it's particularly important while you're healing because if you're in your ego, that's edging God out. So if you're in your ego, you're not healing. It's taken away from the work that you need to be doing. You have to heal in humility. So when you're in your ego, that's not your true self. So the healing work is not really getting done. And so what I mean by that is, so okay, let's just say someone does, well, no, let me go here. I'm going to do the downside of the ego first. It goes back to that self-talk. Poor me. I'm a victim. That's ego too. Don't do that. Because it identifies with all those negative things and it has labeled itself all those negative things. The ego works both ways. You could be poor me, I'm a victim, or you could be I'm above and better, or I'm so prideful, or I'm not gonna um you know what I mean? I'm not gonna stand down. That's ego. That's ego. A lot of times when people are in confrontations and they're in fights, they're egos that are fighting. Because anytime you're trying to win or get one up or outdo the other or be right to the point that you're going to keep going to prove your point, that is your ego. Fall back because it's not that serious. You can heal and be in your ego. You can't do it. In fact, you might just want to let your ego go. It does come up, but if you're aware of it and aware of how it operates, look it up if you don't already know. There's plenty of information out here on it. There's plenty of books, plenty of articles, all kind of things. Learn your ego and how that thing really works and what it really is. And the thing about the ego, it is kind of like if you're not careful and if you let it just take you over, it becomes a demon. So you want to just make sure that you're not in your ego. Stay away from your ego while you're healing. Again, you may have moments because you're human, but don't let it keep going. Recognize it and let it calm down. Bring it back down so that you can continue going forward with your healing. And so you guys, I'm going to wrap this video up. I hope this is helpful for you. If you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. Please click on that red subscribe button. Subscribe to my channel, please. Also, click on that bell right there, right next to that red subscribe button, so that you can get a notification every time I upload a new video. You can also connect with me on Facebook and Instagram at Latricia Booker and on Twitter at Kingdom Business 9. That is Kingdom Business with one S and the number 9. And so, you guys, that is my time. So I am out. Peace. Peace, 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 peace.